Editing a photograph obviously involves a full kind of global edit where you're making adjustments to your full range of tonalities, colors, and all that kind of stuff. But masking remains probably the most important way to be able to create localized edits to any kind of image, whether it is adjusting the skin tone on a portrait sitting, or whether you're trying to get some contrast in the pelt of an animal that you're photographing, or even just trying to adjust the sky that you are photographing in a landscape. So masking is essential, basically, if you are trying to do anything beyond the most basic of edits. Now, Capture One Pro has always had a very comprehensive set of tools that are available to you to be able to create masks, and quite advanced masks at that. And you can take a look at a video that I have produced in the past on basic masking techniques in Capture One Pro. You'll find that in the top left-hand corner of the block over here. Today, what I'm going to do is look at some of the more advanced ways of refining your masks thanks to recent introductions to the Capture One Pro suite, which allow you to essentially combine masks to be able to create a single, more refined and accurate mask. So I'm going to jump into an image that I created on the edge of the Drakensberg Mountains within Lesotho of a small group of Angora goats with the mountains behind. Now, it's not necessarily the most astounding photograph, but it is a good one to be able to demonstrate over here. This is an image that is unedited at the moment, so you can see my sky is a little bit bright, so I'm probably going to want to darken that. But more importantly, I'm wanting to get some kind of separation between the Angora goats in the foreground and the mountains in the background. So we're going to go in and we're going to start our photograph by doing a basic edit. So just to very briefly get this in, I'm going to increase my contrast. I'm going to bring down my exposure ever so slightly. I'll push up the saturation a little bit. Levels, I should probably think about just getting my leveled image over here. So I'm going to get my darks in and my whites. And there we go. So there's my image as it stands without any kind of masking taking place. So let's start off with the sky. Now in Photoshop and Lightroom, you do have a select sky option. We don't have that in Capture One. That's not necessarily a bad thing though, because I think that those select sky options sometimes are a little bit rough. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go into my adjust and I'm going to create a new layer or a new adjustment layer over here. And we're going to use a simple gradient filter. So I'm going to pull my gradient filter down, and that is the area that I'm going to be affecting. To be able to see the mask, I'm going to hit M, and you can see there's my mask. But of course, it is bleeding out over the horizon over here. Let's just switch the M off for a moment. Now, what I'm wanting to do is bring the exposure down in my sky, bring my contrast up, get a little bit more of saturation into the color of the blues itself. In fact, I probably go all the way down to my actual color tab over here and just push the blues up just a touch. And I would probably also want to just add some clarity to that, just to get some punch into the sky itself. Obviously, this is affecting my foreground as well, and the mountains itself. A little bit like if you used a traditional neutral density graduated filter. So what we're going to do is we're going to refine that. Now, one of the easiest ways to refine that is now to combine our masks. So I'm going to go from my adjustment layer and I'm going to say combine masks. And you're given three options. You can add, subtract, intersect, and then you can actually select a mask, which is then going to interact with the existing mask. So I'm going to hit my M button so you can see the mask in place over here. And we're now wanting to remove essentially this area here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to subtract, and I'm going to grab my luma range and I'm going to say create mask. Now what happens is the red that you see is still going to obviously show what is being masked. I want to remove that foreground. So I'm going to just pull this back, and I've taken my foreground area here. So that's going to be removed. And all I'm doing is I'm adjusting my luma range, so in other words, the luminosity, and I'm combining that or subtracting this tonal range itself, which is essentially from my shadows through to just below my highlights from my initial mask. So I'm going to say apply. And now when I switch off my M, you will see that I am only applying this to the sky itself. Now, the advantage of this over just selecting sky is that you have a slightly better selection of your edges. So you've got less chance of halos occurring on the very edge line of the photograph itself. So it blends quite nicely. So essentially, we're replicating what you would find with a single button, but not quite as accurately in alternative software applications. So that's just using it on the sky in this situation. But what about getting these Angora goats so that they pop out a little bit more? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another layer over here. In fact, let's just rename this one as our sky. So I'm going to create a new one, and this is going to be our goats. Now I'm going to grab my radial tool, and we're going to just grab a radial area around the goats themselves, like so. But what I'm now going to do is, again, go back to my combined masks, and I'm going to say luma range, but this time I'm going to intersect. Now what intersect basically means, it's only going to create a mask where the two masks would be the same. If I were to create a luma mask over the entire area, these sheep are fairly similar to the sky above, so it would select both the sky and the sheep. What I'm now doing is I'm targeting an area using my radial tool, and I'm saying that I only want to have a selection based on luminosity within that area itself. So we're going to do that, and we're going to say create mask, and now it gives us this option. So once more, I can now play with my luminosity tool to only select the parts of the sheep that we want. So I'm going to just open that up. It's obviously selecting more than that though. So we got our sheep selected, and I quite like the fact that it's selecting them on a kind of graduated basis. So you'll notice that the actual selection isn't all the way through the sheep. We can adjust that obviously as well with our sensitivity and our radius so that it is less or more and softer. There we go, right? So now it's selecting just that, but we still have the problem that we've got some rocks that are selected in the background. That's fine. I'm going to apply that. While this is still here, we'll go back to combine masks, and this time around we are going to subtract. So from the mask, we're now going to subtract something. I'm going to select my AI select tool in this regard, right? So we're going to say create mask. Now, where you see this red highlighted is the area that we're going to be subtracting from my mask. So I'm going to just select that, select these little areas. I'm going to hit my M button so that we can see again what we're doing. And there we go. So you can see how we are, let's just get rid of that one. If it's struggling to get rid of that, that's fine. What we will do is we will create another one. So we'll go combined masks again. We're going to subtract, and this time we'll go back to our straight brush. We'll create mask. And now you will notice that I am actually removing the areas that I don't want. What's nice about this particular approach, though, is that at any stage you can modify and refine any one of these masks that are involved to be able to create essentially a single mask that is only affecting the areas you're wanting to affect. So there we go. So I've been a bit rough around the edges over here, but that's fine. So essentially what I now have is a single mask separating my sheep from the background. So if I go into my goats over here and I actually make, sorry, sheep goats. If I go into my goats now, I can then, for instance, just add some exposure, reduce my contrast a little bit. Let's open up my shadow a touch just to get them out. And I'm actually going to reduce my highlights because I don't want the sheep to be shining like nuclear little furry bombs. So let's just get our shadows out. There we go. So essentially what I've now done is I have created some separation with my goats so that they are a little bit from off the background. So this is how we can use multiple masks to create a single mask just by combining them. And of course, on top of that, at the end of it, we can still go in and we can still refine the mask. So once I hit refine mask, it then uses its little clever, intelligent brain to essentially blend that mask in so that it looks even more natural. And we can change how much it affects it by just pulling the slider to the left or the right. The new tools in terms of masking in Capture One are extraordinarily effective in being able to create very advanced masks. So as a recap, let's go into the different options that we have available over here. Let's go in and create a new layer on this image, and we're just going to look at how the different masks affect the image itself. So let's say I am wanting to select the boat and its wake. So I'm going to grab a radial tool. We're going to drag it out over the boat. And its wake. If we hit the combine masks option now, we can add to the mask, we can subtract from the mask, and we can intersect to the mask. If I were to go to add, let's take add and just add another radial gradient filter and we create mask. Essentially, you are creating a new radial mask inside the image itself. This is different to the previous iteration because you could only have one radial mask per layer. So now you can actually have multiple radial masks and, for instance, a gradient mask inside your one layer. So that's how you could add to your photograph. So we just remove that simply by clicking on this. Let's say I would like to subtract from it. So now I would choose subtract, and I could then, for instance, say subtract background. So I'm going to subtract background, create mask. Now it's only selecting the boat itself. Probably very similar to if I'd just gone to an automatic selection of the boat, but regardless, you can see how I have adjusted the mask itself. So I'm just going to remove that again, and you can remove a mask from your selection of masks simply by hitting the actual layer and deleting it. The next option that we have is to intersect, and it always starts off with intersect because, of course, it's the only way that you can create a luma mask in the first place is by saying combine masks and then going luma. And essentially what you're doing is you're taking a full mask of the image and then intersecting it with the luminosity selection itself. I hope that makes sense to you. This time I'm going to intersect it, and again all I'm doing is I'm using the radial tool as a bounding of the selection itself. So if I say create mask and then we tweak this to only affecting really the lighter tones of the image, we're wanting those whites inside there. There we go. And that is selecting the boat along with some of the lighter tones itself. And you can see that that's what's being accepted by the red. Importantly, what it hasn't done is accept everything else. But here's the really cool thing. If I say apply that, and then we go back to our tool here and we adjust, you'll notice how the actual tool stays live. I am now essentially combining my luma selection and my radial tool, but I can shift it wherever I like based on the mask itself. Notice that the connection between the two masks stays the same even if I shift the mask out away from the boat itself. You have essentially an active mask that can be adjusted in any way immediately, which is very, very cool, actually. You can, of course, always go back to the traditional way of using your eraser to be able to remove a section of your mask. The only thing is that if you're wanting to use multiple gradient tools or multiple radial tools or even multiple luminosity tools, you have to do it using the new combine masks feature. But it gives you an incredible amount of versatility in terms of being able to create your masks in the first place. And you can do them relatively quickly as well. So that's just a quick brief look at how you can start to combine masks, in particular your luminosity mask in conjunction with a radial tool to be able to create your refined masks in Capture One Pro. If you found this useful, please remember to drop a like and a subscribe into the various blocks around the YouTube screen, you know the drill. Otherwise, if you've got any questions around how you use masks, please put them into the comments section below and I'll see if I can put a short video together to be able to answer them. Once more though, thanks again for watching and I hope to catch you on the next one pretty soon. Cheers.